All unmuted, ready to go.
All righty, then let's call it to order at, let's turn that off and mute that. Here. Now let's call it to order at 7:04 p.m. Fantastic. If we can get a roll call, then we'll stand for the pledge.
Okay. So we'll start online. Adam McDowell.
Here.
And Rob Rochelle Williams. And Diane Law.
And we'll be this today.
Okay. In the room, we have Valerie Rentbaler,
Here.
Matt Castilla,
Here.
Deb Cassini Klein,
Here.
of course, President Jay Doran, and the mayor, Paul Gamera.
Here. Yeah, we are still here. Yeah, fantastic. We can rise to the pledge of allegiance if you're able. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Welcome to the first of the regular meetings for the new year. Happy New Year to everybody. If I haven't had a chance to wish you a happy New Year already. We're going to move straight into our agenda, beginning with public comment. Again, if you are a taxpayer or a resident and you would like to speak, we'll start in the room and we'll go online. If you are online, please click the raise your hand, at which time we will promote you. You have 3 minutes. Please give your name and address prior to speaking, after which time we'll give you the time to speak. That being the case, I will begin in the room with my wonderful residents who we get to see all the time. I appreciate you guys coming out. Any comments today?
No, thank you, not today.
None, but we are still afforded your presence. So I thank you both for coming out. We'll move to anyone online to see if there's anyone who's interested online. Again, I would just say that if you are interested, if you raise your hand, we will promote you, at which time you'll be given the opportunity to speak. I am not seeing anyone online who has raised their hand. We do have 2 call-ins, so you've both been promoted. This is one that's listed as call-in user number 1 and one that's listed as a phone number. I'm not gonna list your whole phone number online, I suppose. But it's the 9473, I guess it's listed out there anyway. If you would like to speak, we'll start with the call-in user number 1. Give you a second to unmute. If you can unmute yourself if you'd like. And if not, I will move to the other caller. Not seeing call-in user number 1 unmute. The other caller I want to meet, I'll give you some seconds as well. The opportunity to speak. Now, it just looks like we've got a quiet crowd today. I appreciate that in either case that you're here. Again, today we have 8 attendants and then 7 on the panels, which gives over 15 on the call today or on the meeting today, and 2 in the live audience along with Chief. That being the case, I'm going to close public comment and move into our ordinary items, beginning with number 3.
Mr. President, I motion to accept the meeting minutes from the Monday, December 5th, 2022 Borough Council Workshop Meeting and Monday, December 12th, 2022 regular council meeting.
Second. Thank you. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none. All in favor of accepting the minutes?
Aye.
And the meeting minutes are accepted without opposition. Moving us on to the mayor's report. Mr. Mayor, if you would like to.
Mr. President.
You gotta allow the mayor to speak first, and then we'll open for a motion.
Chief Ron Ackley has reported to me that there were no critical or significant incidents during the month of December 2022. Officers handled a total of 975 events for a total of 13,101 end of the year total, consisting of both calls for service and proactive patrol engagements and details, resulting in 2 arrests. Information regarding the magisterial fees for the month of December 2022 were not available at this time of the report. The department's police vehicles logged 5,633 miles in the past month. The ticket summary for the month of December 22 was 31, 7 parking tickets and 24 traffic tickets. On Monday, January 2nd, 2023, Breckenridge Chief Police Justin McIntyre was tragically shot and killed in the line of duty. A young Toronto police officer was also shot and seriously injured and is now in stable condition with a long road of recovery ahead. Funeral services for Chief McIntyre will be held this week and as always, our department will be represented to pay our final respects to our fallen brother. The chief asks our residents, family, and friends, please keep men and women in law enforcement in their thoughts and prayers, not just today, but always. Details and other related statistics concerning the police department during the month of December 22 are attached are reported on the attached police department reports. Thank you. One other thing, today was Law Enforcement Day, National Law Enforcement Day. So we recognize our officers. And just as a personal note, over the years of being mayor, getting to work with the chief closely and knowing all of our officers, it's a really scary thing, when I think about those guys out there. So.
True statement.
Okay, Mr. President, I motion to accept the mayor's report for December 2022.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? I would just say, one, that on a personal note, certainly my thoughts and prayers out to Chief McIntyre's family and to the force, and to our own guys, whether you realize it or not. I certainly never, I don't think say this generally. I am somebody who keeps people in my prayers, and I do keep our officers regularly on a kind of nightly basis, because it is something that, having been in a circumstance of what's called the state monopoly of violence, and I know it sounds weird, but there's a thing that the only people who should be able to use force are people who are condoned by the state, meaning officers, military, so forth. When that is flipped, that changes your entire perspective of reality. And so I just want our guys to know that you're in my prayers, you're respected, and I hope I never have to have the kind of conversations that are going on over Breckenridge here, ever. But still, there's a risk every day, and I think everyone needs to be conscious of that the people are putting their lives on the line for us as citizens, and we both appreciate and respect it. So, any other discussion on the matter? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the mayor's report is accepted without opposition. This moves us on to the treasurer's report and directing the finance officer bills. I would entertain said motion.
Mr. President, I move to accept the treasurer's report for December 31st, 2022, and move to direct the finance officer to pay the bills for the Borough of Churchill accrued since December 12th, 2022.
Second. Thank you. Is there any discussion? As a matter of course, whenever we are paying bills, any bill that is over the amount of $10,000 now, it used to be 15, but 10 is good for me. We read publicly, even though it's listed, and I do it relatively quickly so that everybody has it. You can look it up right in front of you as well. Begins with our sewage account, in which it's over in Elkstown, the amount of $165,238.85. Our general liability insurance to professional and governmental underwriters, the amount of $31,602. Public Works is paying out to Vigliotti Landscaping Construction Incorporated, the amount of $21,276.07. Again, on general liability under the insurance for MRM property liability trust for the Churchill, for the borough, in the amount of $18,879. Our engineering services to our wonderful friends over at Gateway, that's right, it's that kind of day. The amount of $18,624.65. And the health benefits, which include health, dental, and vision over to UPMC health plan, the amount of $9,000, it's on there, so I'm reading it, $9,112.40. Is there any other discussion regarding the bills or the treasurer's report?
I just for discussion, I wanted to thank the staff for their hard work over the last year. I know I saw in the treasurer's report for December that our budget was well managed. We ended up with a little bit, just slightly more income than we had budgeted, and we came in slightly below our budget for our expenses. So I know they work hard to keep all that in line and checking on that regularly and manage it. So we appreciate the staff work on that, and well done.
Duly noted and agreed. Any other discussion? I'm hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the bills will be paid if treasurer's report is accepted without opposition. This moves us on to number 7.
Mr. President, I would motion to adopt resolution 4557 of the Borough of Churchill, County of Allegheny County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, establishing the standard mileage reimbursement rate at the established by the Internal Revenue Service. The IRS rate for 2023 is 65.5 cents per mile driven for business use.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? I would just point out that this is, fairly standard, but codifying what is proper business in order to make sure that we're reimbursing at the IRS rate. I remember when the IRS rate was 32 cents. That's how long I've been having to follow the IRS rate. It's having your white is in that field. Any other discussion on the matter? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And the motion is passed without opposition. This moves us on to the discussion items that we have today. I'm going to kind of run through some staff, see if we've got anything that needs to go, then any questions on our own committees, and then we will move forward. So we'll start with engineer. Anything coming out of the engineer?
So just briefly, as we spoke briefly about last month, we did issue the initial pavement management plan to the infrastructure committee, just a draft. We're reviewing that with staff here this week, as well as trying to evaluate proposed roads for the road program this year from that plan. Those projects and infrastructure projects are anticipated to be bid in the first quarter of this year, with an award date in March or April of this year.
Appreciate that. Appreciate your work and your work with the infrastructure committee, which never seems to have anything to do. So never. Yeah, I appreciate both, and I know how much work you've done last year, and I appreciate hopefully maybe a little less than you have to do this year, but we'll see.
Maybe a little more.
We'll be honest. Probably more accurate, but one can hope. Thank you very much. I'm gonna move over and see if there's anything coming, Ralph, from either fire or public works, if you have the minutes.
Thank you, Mr. President. The only thing I really have tonight is that the fire department responded to 499 calls last year. That is a record for the fire department. So far this month, we're at 18. So it doesn't seem like it's going to let up at all. The guys have been pretty busy with that. And we're going to be putting some signs up for membership. So just be aware that they'll be out. We're trying to get some more membership. We could use the help with all the calls we're getting, and with all the guys getting burned out with all the calls. We could always use some extra help. That's all I have, sir.
I appreciate that. I would point out that I think anything that we can do with the communications committee to try and put the word out on that, I think would be great. Again, I know I can speak comfortably for all of council in thanking all of the volunteer firemen and women for their efforts. We don't function with safely as a community without you all. And to that end, if you're not able to volunteer the time, there's also the ability to help by contributing to the volunteer fire department. It would be a well use of some funds if you have any extra that you're able to donate. It would be great. Okay, I'm going to move over to the chief. If you have any comments that you want to make today.
Just briefly, because it's I've been contacted by a lot of the local news channels this morning. We had a carjacking incident yesterday morning around 7 a.m. down at Rhode and William Penn Highway. There were 3 individuals in the vehicle who we believe were responsible. We did apprehend one not far from the scene, and through some investigation, we identified the other subject. The third person was detained and interviewed. He wasn't involved. So we did make an arrest. We do have a second person we're obtaining an arrest warrant for. The driver of the vehicle was carjacked, wasn't seriously injured. So all in all, it worked out pretty well. But typically I'll let you and the mayor know anytime we have these issues. So I kind of gave you the heads up yesterday, but all in all things considered, it worked out pretty well. And we hope to make that second arrest shortly.
I appreciate the notification, letting everybody else know, and also that it worked out in a way that everyone was generally safe. Again, just going back to kind of the other comments, you never know out there. And
right.
So every day that everybody comes home safe is a blessed day. So I appreciate it very much. Any other discussion for the chief? Moving on to, the solicitor, then the manager, then we'll work our way.
Mr. President, I have nothing to add this evening.
Thank you very much, sir.
Just anticipating a very busy year. We've got a lot, I think, that's gonna be happening this year, including some potential hires. I don't know if the chief wants to mention, he did mention to the council the struggles we're having to find people interested in applying. But we certainly want to get that word out that we and other departments are looking for candidates.
Yeah, and then, I think there's a conversation to have that the chief had initiated before. I don't want to have it kind of at this space about ways that we can improve our recruiting and make ourselves more attractive. I think generally we're a very attractive community, but there's other things that we can do to assist in that process, and that did not fall on despite my years, did not fall on deaf ears. That is something that I think we're going to have a further conversation about, and I'll certainly follow up with you along with others to see what we can do to make that happen. Because we need to be there. This is a world in which there is a labor shortage in just the kind way of saying it in policing right now.
Right.
And so that creates a supply and demand difficulty. So we would certainly follow up to make sure that we're able to move that forward. Anything else on your end?
Just we have about 9 people who have called in or watching online, and of course, other people on Facebook this evening.
Outstanding. And I do appreciate the fact that we're able to do this, and this is a lot of work from our administrative staff and the borough manager to really create kind of where we are now in this kind of virtual space. All right, it moves us on to committee reports. Any questions on existing committee reports that people have? If there are no questions at this time, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn a quick meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Game, set, match, people. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Quick one today. See y'all soon. Take care.